Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how are you this week?
Honestly, Jeff, while I am in New Jersey, not in Florida this week, we are among another heat wave, which makes tonight's topic perfect because it is hot out there and hot in Orlando.
Well, tonight is all about water parks, right? Disney World has multiple water parks, has 2 water parks. We've done shows on both of them. So just for frame of reference, get it out of the way early for you. Typhoon Lagoon, we did one. It was show 117. And Blizzard Beach, it was show 65. So if you do want to go back and listen to how we broke down those parks at that particular time, that will be the place to start. However,
and have a little bit of grace for us. I will say, as you call out those numbers, Jeff.
It's a long time.
Today is episode 290.
Yeah.
I feel like we were babies back in episode 65.
Well, I'm sure we sound just as good then as we do now, but a lot has changed, right? So there's some things that are old reliable that'll still hold true for those water parks, but there are some things that have changed, and we kind of wanted to offer those for you. And there's a big reason why. It's because of what Disney has offered folks that are checking in 2025 and now in 2026.
We are excited with the free arrival day water park benefit.
Yes, free. Free excites everyone.
You know, it's not a usual Disney word. We tease that we don't use any of the F words with Disney. But now free is a great one. And if you noticed how long my sentence was, it wasn't just a free water park day. It was a free arrival day.
Right.
And so that's a real key, and that makes it a great benefit to some of our guests and an irrelevant benefit to others. You know, if you're working all day and sneaking out and getting on that 6 or 7 p.m. flight and arriving in Orlando at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, even though your first real day is the next day, your water park day is gone. It is arrival day only, barring a weather closure or weather issue, and you would talk to the front desk and they'll make that benefit available to you any other day of your trip. But it is intended as arrival day only.
So just clarify that real fast too, because that is a caveat that maybe folks don't know. If you get there and it's pouring and the water parks are not open, they will honor it as long as you go to the front desk. They will honor it at a later part of your stay.
That is correct.
Okay, good to know.
And a little popular now to save some money and get that free benefit. If you do a split stay, so maybe you're at Art of Animation your first 3 days, and then you move over to Wilderness Lodge your next 3 days, you would get 2 free water park days. One the day you checked into Art of Animation, and one the day you checked in at Wilderness Lodge.
Got it. Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Some people are definitely planners in that regard. Some people like to see multiple resorts too, so it's a nice way to do that. What else about the free option that we have? Anything that's different that comes along with that? Anything that are hanging somebody up? Maybe specifics? Anything we need to know?
As I said, it is 1 per person. It is that arrival day. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't go to a water park on another day.
Sure.
You can buy a water park ticket. And we work with our clients on buying them because they're a little bit funny in how you have to purchase them.
Funny how?
So we've talked about park tickets probably ad nauseum at this point. We've talked about base tickets and hopper tickets.
Right.
And then there is that water park and sports option. And typically that adds $70 a person. And the water park and sports is a little bit unique because different people get a different value out of it.
Right.
You get however many admissions you have park days. So if you bought a 3-day park ticket, you get 3 water park admissions for $70. If you bought a 5-day park ticket, you get 5 water park admissions for the same $70. 6-day 6, 7-day 7. The interesting thing is, even if you have, let's say, a 6-day park hopper water park and sports ticket, there's a mouthful for you.
Yeah, right.
The water park admissions, in the case of the add-on, are never hoppers. So if you did 2 water parks in one day, it would be 2 admissions.
Got it.
But on your free day, they do allow you to hop between them.
Oh, so you could go to Blizzard Beach to start the day, assuming they're both open, right? You can go to Blizzard Beach to start the day, and you could end the day at Typhoon Lagoon. That's an interesting
That's correct.
piece.
I do encourage you to pick one or the other. We'll talk in a minute about transportation, and unless you have your own car, hopping from water park to water park could be your own adventure of the day.
Yeah, well, they're not right next to each other.
They are not, and they do not have direct transportation. They have very, very, very indirect transportation.
Well, we're going to talk about transportation in a bit, but can we talk about the times that they're open? Is that logical to go to now?
You bet. And those times are seasonal, kind of like the park. So, as I said, it is hot right now. It is summer, and it's also light out later. So the water parks are open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. As we get into the fall and towards the winter, they tend to close closer to 5 p.m. You may also find there are some glow events and other nighttime water park events. Those are never included with your free admission, and they may impact park hours. What I will also say that I have noticed is the water parks tend to be most crowded from about 11 to 2.
Right. The hottest part of the day.
The hottest part of the day, people who are maybe doing the water park and then want to, do a special dinner that arrival night. But if you want a little bit less of a crowd, or maybe your flight's getting in a little later in the day is a great time to go to the water park. I assure you, it has gone down by like 3 degrees. It's still warm out.
Yes, we're not worried about it being cold. Blizzard Beach aside, it's not going to be cold.
It is not going to be cold.
So we had done those shows as I had laid out in the beginning. Typhoon Lagoon 117, Blizzard Beach 65, as we said. And some things have changed. So can you break down for folks a couple of the things that may have changed since those particular shows, should they go back and listen?
I'll tell you the best thing that's changed, and it is their towel policy. As a resort guest, they now have towels for you. Show your resort ID through your My Disney Experience account. They will give you towels, return them on your way out. When you listen to the old episodes, you'll hear me talk about bringing your own towels or renting towels. They do still rent towels if you happen to be listening and you're an off-site guest. But on-site Walt Disney World guests get free towels. So
Nice.
That is a nice perk, because who wants to carry all that extra stuff?
No, it's a big pain. The other thing that you had mentioned specifically to talk about going from park to park was transportation, but that's not the only piece of transportation that we should discuss. So what else do you have for us?
So this one is a struggle for me, I have to be honest.
Okay.
And I don't know why they did this and who came up with this idea. I get that the water parks are not a top featured park, but it used to be that the bus going to Animal Kingdom stopped in Blizzard Beach, and the bus going to Disney Springs stopped in Typhoon Lagoon. And I guess they decided it just had too many people driving out of their way for these stops when they were really trying to get somewhere else. So for the most part, and there are going to be some exceptions to this rule, but the majority of the resorts, you have to take a bus either to Animal Kingdom or to Disney Springs, depending which water park you're going to, and then transfer to the water park bus. So what that means is it can be pretty time consuming, and it also means you can be going in the wrong direction. So, for example, for us, one of the things we did the last trip is we did the water park our arrival day, and we planned to do Disney Springs at night. And at the time, there was only one water park open, so there were no choices.
Right.
We went to Blizzard Beach. When we were leaving there, I would think, kind of like they do at the theme parks, after 4 p.m., if you're listening, Disney, you should run direct buses to Disney Springs. But they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get on the transfer bus that took us to Animal Kingdom, which is the opposite direction of Disney Springs. We had to get off the bus, walk all the way around to another part of the bus depot because they're not in the same section. And then we had to wait for a Disney Springs bus. And then we had to drive past the water park to get to Disney Springs.
Yeah,
It
that's
did
frustrating.
take us about an hour and 40 minutes
Yeah, I
to
was gonna
do that.
say that could be a 2-hour ride, easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to go to Typhoon Lagoon, here's another little hitch. You're going to drive past the water park to get to Disney Springs, pretty much everywhere you're staying except Old Key West and Saratoga Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to go through security. And then you can double back and get online for the bus to the water park. So, not that I think you have anything to hide, but when we talk about how much time is spent doing transportation and waiting for transportation versus out and having fun, that's one of the tougher things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're definitely experimenting with transportation. When I was at Blizzard Beach last week, they did do some direct bus offerings. I can't figure them out, I'll be honest with you. All of the value resorts had a direct bus going back home. Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach, and Wilderness Lodge had a direct bus. There is, of course, a minivan stop there, but remember, minivans are through the Lyft app and a starting price of $50 for the ride. So you can Uber, you can Lyft, you can drive there, free parking as long as you're staying on site, and you're all covered.
So it's just something to consider, right? It's not a negative feature or anything like that, but don't expect that you're going to be able to move around quickly. It's going to take you some time if you're relying on Disney transportation.
Right, if it's going to take me an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half to get back.
Correct.
That's 3 hours of my vacation.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Maybe if I'm comfortable with it and I have older kids and I don't need car seats, I'll spend the $25 round trip and Uber or Lyft, and it'll take me about 20 minutes for $25 instead of 3 hours.
Yeah, very significant. Okay. Well, just something to consider, especially when you're looking at, the time that you get in and that you're going to get to the park, right? So be mindful of that. Those are helpful tips. But the questions that I have for you is like, let's assume that we're going on a vacation where both of these parks are open, which has not historically been often in the case, right? But right now, as of our recording, they are both open, right? And nearing August of 2025. How do you choose? How do you choose which one that you think is for you or for your traveling party? What are the conversations you're having with clients?
It's sometimes in eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I'll be honest. Sometimes it's which are you closer to, which of those transportation options
make the most
sound
sense.
the best
Sure.
to you.
Yep, that's helpful.
They obviously have very different themes. To some people, the theme is everything. Do I want to feel tropical and beachy, or do I want to feel like I'm in a ski resort?
Right.
If you head to Blizzard Beach, they do have a little bit more on the thrill ride kind of side, versus Typhoon Lagoon is more surfing and wave pool.
Mm-hmm.
They each have a huge, what we call a signature ride, the Crush and Gusher. So again, if you're a big Nemo fan, Crush and Gusher.
Sure.
Or over in Blizzard Beach, the Summit Plummet. They both have absolutely adorable kids areas. So if you've got one who's really in that toddling age, Tykes Peak is certainly easier to say than to keep having to say Catch a Kitty Creek. I can't even get that out the first
Catch
time.
a Kitty Creek. Obviously, Catch a Kitty Creek. That's easy. Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
But they are both great little kids areas where they've got, a couple of inches of water for them to wade through and mini slides and water sprouting and lots of fun. So it's really, are you looking for that quirky, adventurous ski area or that chill beach area? Again, if you go back to those previous episodes, they both offer things like lazy rivers, like rentals for cabanas, if that's of interest to you. So they both have the basics, and let's be honest, when it's hot, we're all happy anywhere. I could do hours on end in that lazy river. Pro tip, make sure that you've got one of those waterproof cases for your phone, especially if you're like me and you like to read on your Kindle app on your phone. Grab a tube and go.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? I mean, that was, we did this on our last trip as a family. We ended up at Blizzard Beach. It was the first water park the kids had ever been to. And at 6 and 8 years old, that summit plummet, that was a thing. And I was amazed, but it was a thing, right? We hit the height requirement, and they were on board. So it's interesting as I look at it too, because you look at something like Typhoon Lagoon with some surf lessons, right? That's something that people that don't grow up near the beach, where my kids are fortunate enough to grow up, that might be something that they want to do, right? So it's each one has its own little kitsch nature to it that if it's open, you got to take a look at it and see what makes some sense for you.
Most definitely.
What about food? Right? What is there in terms of dining in these places? Because when you think water park, let's be fair, you're thinking some pretty basic food. You're thinking burgers, you're thinking dogs, you're thinking chicken sandwich, stuff like that. Is there anything more than that we should be looking at, or is that pretty much where we're headed?
It's a lot of those basics. It's some specialty carts with specialty snack items, specialty ice cream. But I think one of the things that is a little bit confusing there is for those of you on the dining plan. So if you've got a Disney meal plan, and if we're looking at people going in 2026, when all kids 3 to 9 get a free dining plan if the adults buy it,
right?
You're seeing a lot more people on that meal plan.
Sure.
You can use your quick service credits there. You can use your snack credits there. What you can't use that throws people off a little bit is they have refillable mug stations, but you can't use your resort mug. And again, it's why you can hear from what I just called it. I refer to it as a refillable resort mug that comes with your meal plan.
Correct.
It is only good for refills at your resort. The water park does sell their own refillable mug, and you can get refills all day if you buy their mug. And people say to me all the time, well, who will know the difference?
The RFID chip in your mug will know the difference.
That is exactly correct. Your mug is chipped on the bottom, and that chip is dated when you purchase it and where it is valid for. So if you take your resort mug, you can stand there as long as you'd like. You're not going to see the drink station.
No.
But just like in the theme parks, you can go to any of the fast food locations, not all the little food carts, because they only have bottled beverages. But any of the fast food locations will give you unlimited cups of ice water. It is so important, even though you're in the water, that you keep hydrating.
Well, and anything that we talked about food-wise and really kind of attraction-wise, we didn't break down a whole lot of it tonight, but those should be in the old show, right? So if you take it back and listen to those old shows, you should really get something for the food specifics and the rides, the specific attractions. I mentioned
exactly. Those haven't changed. Those are going to be the same. I would say the only other key takeaway, in case you're not going back to listen to those, is both parks do have life jackets, just like all the Walt Disney World themed pools. So if you've got a little swimmer who's not 100%, or you're heading into the wave pool, I highly encourage you to watch it before you head in if you've got little ones. Grab that life jacket, especially in the beginning of the day, to make sure that you're comfortable with everything.
Well, it's a cool new feature that we've had in 2025 that my family got a chance to take advantage of, and we will take advantage of it again in 2026. I thank you for taking the time to break it down, and have a great week.
You too.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week, and as always, keep making memories.